Okie dokie. We are back. Third hour, final hour of the day. Um oh, oh, oh my goodness. Okay, so there's a lot going on with the channels. A lot of things going on today. And this past week about this and that in regards to what is formal versus informal versus lewd versus against TOS. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you've probably heard about this or read about this stuff that's been happening. There have been many of reports and many people complaining about some of the sections, the categories here on Twitch. Now, I can understand that. Twitch is Justin.tv started way back. I don't know, it was 10 years ago, maybe 10, 11 years ago. It started off as a basically a website where the founder who would do on a daily basis a log, a vlog of his life, and you would watch it. So back Justin.tv days were just strictly playing games, but other things too, live stuff, this and that, where you would go and you could watch this person talk about this, so it's kind of basically like a baby form of what today is. Fast
Mm-hmm.
forward into time when Twitch developed, well, from Justin.tv, it then turned into Twitch.tv, where it was now just about video games, maybe a couple categories here and there, but mostly it was just, as it's even states today on their website, it was just a gaming site. Now, if you see, it's the world's leading live streaming platform for gamers and things we love. So that's their tag, their model. That's what they based it on. But now, again, it is even more twisted around where people now are getting banned for these activities. Now, people are saying, okay, this person who is a partnered streamer or streamers who are partners did this X amount of time doing lewd behavior that could be on the border of TOS.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know about you, but if I'm looking at, say, at a person who is wiggling their hind end on the camera or making lewd gestures of innuendos that you can basically, as an adult, put two and two together on
Yeah.
and get away with it versus, say, a person who is a smaller developer, a small platform, a streamer, a creator
Mm-hmm.
of content could do, they would get immediately either banned indefinitely or at least banned for a set amount of time or a quick suspension of time.
Mm-hmm.
So what makes it better for them versus us, as in the majority of people
The
versus
majority
the
of the smaller,
content creators,
not
right?
partnered
Non-partnered.
content creators.
Now, I see the thing I've read about too is there's a lot of creators now who are struggling with like sexually suggestive streams or people like, say for example, like there are a lot of the ones where the women or the lady streamers too, in fact, who were banned. Maybe it's a temporary ban, maybe it's not. I'm not sure. But they now, because they do it, the mindset of some people, some of the viewers from either that particular community or communities of just in general,
Mm-hmm.
because people like to follow suit. People are kind of like lemmings. They'll go one
Oh,
way
yeah.
or the other in a line together. They suggest or think that women in particular, because I just bring this up because that was the
Mm-hmm.
two that got hit with these suspensions. There was a male
Yeah.
one too, but we'll just solely focus on the two ladies at the moment.
But that was also a temporary.
It was temporary.
So it was temporary on the male streamer's part.
Gotcha. If okay, so the thing is if you are a lady streamer who just does your normal things, there are people who have these mindsets who are going to assume that you would have to follow suit because you, as that person, saw this other content creator doing the same things. So now you are considered bad if you don't do what they were doing. So in other words, they would assume that you have to do the exact same thing. So they expect you, even though you know, not you in general, but as in a whole, as a lady streamer, should do the same kind of lewd acts or aggressively ride these blow up pool things or whatever they are, the things.
Pretty
And
much, if you don't follow suit, you're
trash.
not one of those
Yeah, you're
streamers worth watching.
Exactly. And I swear to God, Foo, that's total bullshit. I'm sorry.
It really is.
It's total
Especially
bullshit.
like, okay, coming from a female streamer's perspective, I'm not gonna shake my ass on camera for money.
You shouldn't have to.
That's what OnlyFans is for.
I mean, okay, there's people I could see it, as the word goes, I guess, you know, if you have it, shake what your
If
mom
you haven't
gave
want
it.
it, yeah, stuff like that. I get that, okay, but there is a line
Right.
that you should not have to cross. Granted, yes, body positivity, you feel comfortable in your skin, that's awesome, that's good, that's great. That does not mean you have to go on a streaming platform that was originally meant for games
Right.
and sit there practically naked, or even just like a big thing, tit streamers as they're called.
I just don't understand why. Maybe because I'm not, you know, I'm not one, or I'm not I as feminine as I am in life in general. But I don't understand where all of a sudden this point came across where I'm a female streamer and I have to do this. If I don't do this, nobody will acknowledge me as a human being. I have to sell myself so short, so small, that I have to do these acts just to get attention, just to get money. I'm for people making money, absolutely. And there are models, there are, you know, there's people who are in the sex industry. I get that. That's great. But you said it. I mean, this was a platform that was solely based, even as today it still says video live streaming service that focuses on video game live streaming.
Exactly.
Esports competitions. I mean, that was the bread and butter of Twitch. Now Twitch has gone to these different angles and stuff where they have said, okay, we need to evolve, which I get. I love evolve. I love changing variety. I'm a variety streamer. I don't like just saying, okay, I'll just have this same burger every day. No tomato. Okay, tomorrow, same burger, no tomato. I don't like just being in a rut.
Exactly.
If you can evolve your channel, if you can do something different, like today makes a milestone for you and I both.
Mm-hmm.
We've came out of our cardboard boxes. Well, me in particular, because I live in one. We have come out of our shell and did something different. I get that, and I'm all for that. But there comes a point where you are aggressively hitting that gray area where you are just testing to see what you can do before you get banned, or you feel that you won't get banned, but because you're doing X amount of viewers or the concurrent viewership, the analytics of your channel is through the roof. I understand that. Strike the iron while the iron is hot. I understand it completely. But where did all of a sudden did it get to the point where people are like, okay, well, if I do this, because you couldn't, if you were to go back just 3-4 years ago, even when I started streaming, you couldn't be naked, or excuse me, not naked, but shirt without, a man could not be naked from the top to his waist. You couldn't wear a shirt. You had to wear a shirt.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't show feet. You couldn't show ankles. You couldn't show anything, obviously, out of the G-rated section, if you will, of women and men, which still applies to this day. But you couldn't do any of that stuff. They were very strict about it. You couldn't even do sleep. Couldn't even do a sleep stream where people actually are asleep. I don't understand that. Why would you film yourself sleeping? That's kind of
It's a little bit too out there.
Why would somebody watch you sleep too? It's kind of odd. I can see if you're having sleeping issues, because that's what doctors do. There's
I mean, I can understand, like, if you're having like sleep issues or like
sleep apnea or whatever they call it, but
or like a paranormal stream. If you've had some paranormal stuff happening at night, I can understand that.
Absolutely.
But
it like, again, Twitch has evolved over the years, which is great. But then you have these two top creators. I mean, you're talking, they are partnered streamers who are tagging or towing the line, and they are what you call people who are influencers. In other words, they influence you to watch them, to listen to them. If they're promoting this or doing that, they're watching a game, they're playing a game, it's going to incite you, influence you to play the game at the same time, right? Yeah. Well, you have these top streamers who are doing this stuff, and you're making thousands a month. Why would you risk that just to do that? Where is that mindset at? And now, like, for example, the smaller creators, that's the controversy. If a smaller streamer did the exact same thing, would he or she or they, him or her, or he and him and her, would they get in trouble indefinitely, instantly? Like, if somebody reported that channel saying, hey, this person is doing this, would they get banned indefinitely, or would they get a temp suspension? As you mentioned, they're getting a temp suspension for the male streamer, was it? He just got
for the male streamer, because it was out of his hands. That was a complete out of his hands situation. That's why he only got temporarily suspended. As for the females, I have no idea on what's going on with that.
I just don't understand why, if you are comfortable with your body, why do you have to sell yourself so hard? Okay.
Exactly.
I don't understand that. I mean, wow, that's loud.
I'm sorry. I didn't expect that. Yeah, it's starting to come down.
That would be scary to live in that. I just don't understand, though, why you have to sell yourself so deeply to do it. Now, okay, so now that happened. Okay, people were talking about it. It was a big controversy. It was a big subject on Twitter. I followed this carefully on Twitter. People in particular, lady streamers and stuff, were getting upset at the fact that they found it lewd and inexcusable for somebody to ride a inflatable tube that is shaped like a phallus, and at the same time also a microphone that's an ASMR, people who need ASMR therapy. That's awesome. There's a time and place for it. But when you're lewd and when you're doing these acts that are almost kind of graphic like that, and you're doing it at the same time, and you're thinking, well, I'm not going to get in trouble for it because I do this. I know people from this company and all this stuff. See, that was a controversy too. It's
or the partners who have been around for a long time.
Right.
I completely get ASMR. I understand, people that do ASMR, that's fine. Right. I don't have a problem with that.
No, I absolutely don't have no problems with that at all. I mean, there are people who need that therapy to ease their minds. That's fine. And I'm all for natural therapy. I'm all fine for it.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're
when you're stooping down to a very low level to get yourself out there, and make sure you're seen.
Right.
That is crossing a line from therapy to almost greed.
Right. It is. And it's you think about like you're doing it and you're just like, haha, I'm better than you. I make you all this money so I can just it's kind of reminds me of a snotty sibling in a sense.
Yeah.
It's like, ha ha ha, you can't tell me what to do. I make you money. If you don't like this, I can go to another platform and make you money and blah blah blah.
Exactly.
But you got to stop and think about it though. There's a difference. Okay, the platform is evolving. Great. They just introduced the beach category.
Pools, hops, and beaches.
Now, why they twisted off? I guess they felt that the IRL section, just chatting section, should have been just either basically just chatting, talking and stuff like this, which I get. I understand that, if you're doing all this stuff or if you're going to the mall or if I'm shopping, whatever the case it is, that's just in real life. Not riding a damn inflatable though. To me, that's just wrong. So I kind of get that. It needed its own category. But people...
And see, the thing with the categories, that category that they just introduced, last month?
Right.
Is not doing good at all.
It isn't. Now,
there's not any, there's very little views on that.
Right.
Compared to the whole of Twitch. It had the views and it had the followage when it was in the just chatting section.
Right. Now, is that because people don't know that well, obviously they do know it exists. They have to know it exists. I mean, Christ.
If they're on Twitch.
Right.
And they go into the browse, they can see all of the categories.
Right.
They have to know that it is there.
Right.
But then again, it also hasn't stopped people from doing said hot tub and pool streams in the just chatting section.
Right. Exactly. It has not stopped anybody from... I mean, if you stop and look at it, if I were to go into the just chatting section, okay, of Twitch, it's a hodgepodge of things. Now, that's another thing too on that kind of a topic. Twitch used to be where if you were, say, for example, what if I was playing Lunch Lady, and if I wasn't in the category of said Lunch Lady, and if somebody or multiple reports of saying, hey, this person is miscategorized, because if you look down below a channel, you can report the channel, and there's one section of it that actually physically says, that it says it's miscategorized, which is okay. That kind of makes sense, right?
Oh, yeah.
But if I were to go into the just section, or the just chatting sections, a lot of times you'll see people either streaming marijuana stuff, which
that's like a lot on Twitch.
People who are physically driving their vehicles and reading their chats, which I do not recommend you do at home, folks. Do not do that. Extremely dangerous. You're putting my life in jeopardy and others around you in jeopardy in general. It's just crazy, some of the things that you see on there. But see, they miss time. And if you report these categories, if you're trying to be the best, you're like, okay, I don't want to be that kind of a person, but I'm going to report this channel because they're miscategorized. I get that. Sometimes you'll get, like, I've done it myself. I've streamed for 5 years on Twitch. So I've made mistakes where I've not categorized myself. I've accidentally...
Correctly.
Right. Like I might forget after this show, it ends at 5:00. I might accidentally forget, I'm still in the podcast section where I should be in the Lunch Lady section. So I'll correct myself. Or somebody in chat will say, hey, I'm in, this channel and stuff. But when it comes
like I have done for you before.
Exactly.
And like I've had people do for me in my chats.
I look
and
at
that way, instead of reporting us for a small, simple mistake, we can fix it. And if we don't fix it, that's when it should be reported.
The analytics, as you mentioned, are correct when it comes to the category of pools, hot tubs, and beaches. Is not doing as good as it was. Now, again, the other section, I mean, they're at right now 13,400 plus right now as it sits. 13.4K, which is a lot. Don't get me wrong. But now,
for the whole of Twitch, it is not.
No, not at all. Now, if you were
like barely a fraction of the whole of Twitch.
Now, if you look at the just chatting section, now you have 595,000 viewers. Okay, you have 500,000 people that are in that section alone just chatting. So, was it a good idea to bring this beaches section into Twitch in general? Now, look what happens is you get two main people who are partnered streamers now put themselves in hot water and officially got themselves either banned indefinite or just a suspension because they figured that they can do more ludicrous things or more things that they can do as partners versus such as a smaller streamer or a community streamer in general or creator can do. Now, is it fair? If they just get a slap on the wrist, is that fair to the majority of the consumers or the people who actually stream on a channel? No, I don't think it is. They have been temporarily suspended or banned, if you will, multiple times, but they still get slapped on the wrists. Why is that? Is it because of the money thing? Is it they say, okay, in the long run, this person can make me 40, 50, 60,000 a month minimum versus a smaller community or creator that even if they're affiliated, if they get 5-10 subs, we could scratch them, get rid of them. To me, that's not fair. It's not fair at all to me. I think everybody should be treated as equal. And that was the big fight on Twitter. And right before the suspensions, the suspensions dropped, the wrecking ball, if you will, there was this big arguments right and left in Twitter that was aiming solely at Twitch. So when Twitch, tweeted out something, immediately underneath all that, people were tweeting about this and this and this and that. Why are you letting this happen? Why are you doing it in this section, this section, this section? So it must have gotten the attention of somebody because they were getting thousands of people who were arguing and saying, this shouldn't be on your stream, this and that and everything. You get yourself lawsuits. That's another thing too. You got to think about Fufu. There could be lawsuits from people doing this, and people's rebuttal. Well, younger eyes can find more 18 plus sites out there on their phones versus this place is. I don't know why people are arguing about it. Why, people really give a damn. You just move on. You don't watch it, which is absolutely crazy. But it's just one of those things that happens. But what we can do. All right. Well, Bunny, I appreciate your time. I know it's a little cut off a little bit shorter than norm, but I appreciate it.
We have hail and lightning really bad, and hail is not a good thing, especially in Florida.
It's not a good thing at all.
So I don't want to mess up my computer and all this. So we will pick this back up on Monday.
Yes, I appreciate it. Yes, definitely on Monday.
So I enjoyed it. I really had a good time doing this.
Absolutely. In the future too, ladies and gentlemen, we will include people, guest streamers as well too. We'll give that information to everybody. We'll cut it a little bit short due to the inclement weather that Bunny Fufu is experiencing right now. I appreciate your time over there. We'll cut this off now for you.